I just want to say Tyler, the Creator, is the best friend in the world, and I love him so f***ing much. And I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you, Tyler doesn't want to say, but Tyler's my mother***ing boyfriend, and he's been my mother***ing boyfriend my whole f***ing life. Tyler, the Creator, is my f***ing boyfriend. It's true. Also, the fire marshal said they're gonna shut us down. So if you could just step back a little bit, just a little bit, just so they don't shut us down or whatever. I don't know what that means. There's a lot of you. Tyler, the Creator, is my boyfriend. Okay, if you take anything away from this show, that's what you need to take away.
Jaden Smith stood on a stage in front of thousands of people and announced that Tyler, the Creator, was his boyfriend. At the time, everyone treated it like a quirky, impulsive moment, just Jaden being Jaden. But according to sources, that wasn't random. That was calculated. Because Jaden had reportedly brought Tyler around his family, and Jada, his own mother, allegedly started a relationship with him, with her son's romantic interest. And Jaden announcing it publicly was apparently his way of making it too awkward for Jada and Tyler to keep whatever was going on behind closed doors going. If that sounds insane on its own, it gets worse when you realize it fits a pattern that's been repeating inside the Smith household for years. From August Alsina to Marc Anthony to Tommy Davidson to Bryshere Gray, the same cycle keeps playing out with Jada at the center. And now with people like brother Bilal and Jaguar Wright making public claims about what happened to Bryshere specifically, the full picture of what was allegedly going on in that house is getting harder and harder to ignore. So let me get into everything, because this goes way deeper than an entanglement. To understand why any of this tracks, you have to understand the foundation Will and Jada's relationship was built on, because it was broken from the start. When they first met in 1994, Jada made it clear she was always going to be with whoever she wanted. And to prove the point, she brought her girlfriend along when she came to meet him. Not an ex, a current girlfriend, right there at the introduction. That set the tone for everything after. They only got married because Jada got pregnant and her mother pressured her into it. Jada herself has essentially confirmed marriage wasn't something she wanted.
Divorce was never even an option.
Gosh, I was like, wait a minute, hold it. No.
Like when people, I was reading in the tabloids that we were getting divorced and all of that stuff.
Like,
and it was like, it was never even
I've never even seen a divorce lawyer. Right. It's like, that was never,
it was never even a consideration.
My mind. Like,
but was it for you?
Because I had been divorced before, I wasn't getting divorced again.
Right.
Okay.
Like,
so
I wasn't. Like, divorce wasn't an option.
And according to insiders, that resentment never went away.
I told Will from the gate, I said, let me tell you something. If you marry me, know this. We're going to be together. We're going to be under the same roof. You might be on one end of that joker with somebody else. And I might be on one end of this joker with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I always said, that's ridiculous.
But we're going to be in this joker together.
Yeah.
So
that's what we are going to do. That's not what either of us wants. But I don't want to leave this table making people feel like divorce is wrong.
That's
Sometimes that is what you need.
It just got redirected into behavior designed to break Will down privately while he kept performing the role of perfect husband publicly. Will wanted this marriage more than Jada ever did, and she reportedly knew that no matter what she did, no matter how far she pushed, he'd find a way to stay and defend her. That power imbalance is the engine behind every single scandal that's come out of that household. The August Alsina situation was the one that blew it wide open. August was Jaden's best friend, only 4 or 5 years older than Jaden, and he came into the Smith household looking for friendship and what he described as motherly guidance because he'd had a falling out with his own mother.
I actually sat down with Will and had a conversation due to the transformation from their marriage to life partnership that they've spoken on several times, and it, not involving romanticism. He gave me his blessing. And I totally gave myself to that relationship for years of my life, And I truly and really, really deeply loved and have a ton of love for her. I devoted myself to it. I gave my full self to it.
And Jada turned that into an intimate relationship she later described on her own show as an entanglement, which has to be one of the most sanitized descriptions of taking advantage of your son's vulnerable young friend that anyone's ever come up with. When August eventually went public about it, Will had to sit there on Red Table Talk next to Jada while she talked about it like it was a therapy breakthrough rather than a betrayal of trust on multiple levels. Then Will slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, allegedly to protect his wife's honor, and Jada immediately distanced herself from having any involvement in that decision.
I'm really shocked because, mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Keep my wife's
name out of your mouth, right? And I'm like, but now I'm really worried for Will because I don't know what's going on. Chris looks to me and he says, Jada, I meant no harm. Now, I'm just out of it because I'm really worried about
And what's Will doing? He's just sitting there?
And Will's still talking. He's like, because now he's mad because Chris is talking to me.
So Will blew up his own career defending a woman who apparently never asked him to and doesn't feel any obligation to share the consequences. But August wasn't the first, and he wasn't the last. According to sources, Jada had a pattern of pursuing people who came into the Smith household's orbit, particularly young people connected to her children or people in professional relationships, where the power dynamic was clearly uneven. After August, the Tyler, the Creator situation allegedly happened with Jaden's romantic interest. Before that, she reportedly had a relationship with Marc Anthony after working with him, and according to sources, she brought him into the family home and didn't stop until Will caught them. Will reportedly got physical with her over it and later apologized, but even that wasn't enough to make him consider divorce because he genuinely believed the relationship could survive anything. Then there was Tommy Davidson during the filming of Woo, where word got out that Jada and Tommy had kissed. Will reportedly went to confront him directly and nearly got physical again, but held back because he didn't want it going public. And the pattern here is consistent every single time Jada allegedly initiates something with someone in their professional or personal circle, it escalates. Will finds out, there's a confrontation, and then Will stays. Every time. The cycle never breaks because Will's need to hold this marriage together is apparently stronger than his own self-preservation. Then Bryshere Gray entered the picture, and according to multiple sources, this is where things went from dysfunctional to genuinely predatory. Bryshere was a young man just coming into Hollywood with almost no connections or experience. The only person he really had in his corner was Charlie Mack, Will's longtime friend.
So allegedly, Charlie Mack and Will called me and said, we're coming to your apartment. I said, okay.
Now, when was this?
No problem. This was during the time before Empire even started.
Okay.
So people can look it up and see what year it was. So I'm like, all right, cool. So, but normally I have to go to Will's house if there's a meeting. So Will comes to my apartment allegedly, and Charlie Mack, the rat, the informant, come to my apartment. So they was like, hey, B, look, man, we got this new guy. Will is mentoring. His name is Bryshere Gray. Everybody call him Yes.
Will publicly announced he was going to take Bryshere under his wing and mentor him, which should have been a straightforward opportunity for a young person trying to break into the industry. But according to people like Brother Bilal and Jaguar Wright, who've both spoken about this publicly, what was supposed to be mentorship turned into exploitation.
Number one, as far as Will Smith is concerned, until he does right by all of those children that were harmed and corrupted while in his care, children that grew up to be men, boys like Bryshere Gray, August Alsina, your own son, like your own son. Do people forget about that voice clip that I played from Brother Bilal?
And it wasn't just Will. Jada reportedly also pursued a relationship with Bryshere, someone who looked up to Will as a mentor and father figure. That's what makes the Bryshere situation different from everything else. Jada wasn't just going after a coworker or her son's friend this time. She was allegedly targeting someone in the most vulnerable position possible, a young person with no industry support system who was entirely dependent on the Smiths' goodwill for his career. And according to sources, Will was also involved with Bryshere to the point where Bryshere reportedly started developing real feelings. When the situation inevitably fell apart, Will apparently washed his hands of him completely. No support, no continued mentorship, no acknowledgement of what had happened. Bryshere went from being publicly claimed as someone Will was going to develop and guide to being completely discarded once he was no longer useful or once things got too complicated to manage.
At this point, I'm crying because I feel his pain. Like, I can kind of tell when somebody phony and all, but it was the pain where the snot was coming out his nose. His nose was bleeding. He in the corner screaming, balled up, right? Like, I could feel his pain, like he had been raped, like he had been forced to do something. You understand what I'm saying? So I said, well, listen, let me find out what's going on. He said, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing.
The trajectory of Bryshere's career after that speaks for itself, according to reports. The fallout from whatever happened in the Smith household essentially derailed his path in Hollywood entirely. What makes all of this even more disturbing is the alleged motivation behind Jada's behavior. According to insiders, this wasn't just about Jada wanting to be with other people. She could have done that openly, given that they reportedly had some kind of arrangement. The claim is that Jada specifically targeted people close to Will or close to their children as a way of breaking him down psychologically. Every relationship she allegedly pursued was with someone in Will's orbit: his son's best friend, his son's romantic interest, his co-workers, his mentee. The common thread isn't just infidelity. It's the deliberate selection of people whose involvement would cause, well, maximum personal pain and humiliation. If that's true, then what the public's been watching for the last 2 decades isn't a complicated marriage between two unconventional people. It's one person systematically dismantling another person's sense of self while knowing they won't leave no matter what. And I keep thinking about the kids in all of this because Jaden and Willow have been growing up inside whatever this household actually is. People have spent years commenting on how they sometimes seem disconnected or unusual in interviews, without ever considering what the home environment might actually look like. If even half of what's being alleged is true, and multiple people are now saying the same things from different angles, then Jaden announcing Tyler, the creator, as his boyfriend on stage wasn't just a moment of teenage expression. It was a teenager trying to publicly intervene in his mother's behavior because private conversations clearly weren't working. And that's one of the saddest details in this entire story. A kid shouldn't have to use a public stage to try to protect his own relationships from his own mother. But apparently in that household, that's what it takes, because behind the curated image of Hollywood's most unconventional power couple is allegedly something much darker, and the people who got caught in its orbit are the ones paying the price.